Hostile? Not exactly. Friendly? Some of them. Others, like the guards and hunters, would rather we not be here. But surprisingly, I don't feel completely unwelcome here in Twin Elms. The Glanfathen that sell their goods at the market were quite friendly to us, as was the healer in our home, even though we entered in the middle of the night. We seek a good rest after battle with the Leaden Key, and from being on the road for as long as we were. No one here has spoken of an inn, and we seemingly cannot sleep in the muddy streets. So, even though Anamainfath Bethwell has granted us access to see these Delmgon's sisters in Elm's Reach, we have to search for what our bodies immediately need, which is rest. Nice, soft, comfy, anything. I don't think we've been down to these... I can't get over how big that cat is. A Stelgar. It's like a giant tabby cat. Okay. Sexy elves, let's go. This way. We haven't been to the southeast, or the eastern part of this section. There's the Council of Six that didn't want us here originally, until I made her see the way of reason. Boy, if I couldn't see all these souls lurking about and parts of them, whatever they're doing, this and that, and replaying history, I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am now. Certainly wouldn't be able to stop Theos. That's a very nice looking human-type guard. Very sexy. Okay. Yes, these women tend to dress a little bit more revealing than... Oh, stop, everyone. What I'm used to. No, this leads off into another area. There's got to be some Glanfathen that'll put us up for the night in their home. A nice straw bed sounds good at this point. I think that this goes off to another area. This almost looked like Ingwithan ruins here. I think it originally was. Some Orland's Cradle. What's this here? Oh, there's some coin. Well, I don't think anyone saw us take that. Should have been more careful. Should have been more careful. That's not good. Oh, there's a hut here. Let's go inside. Oh, it's locked. Big Stelgar. Hello, tribeswoman. The Durwoodens can't respect our sacred places when their own cities fall beneath them. Yes, I agree. Those evil, nasty Durwoodens. Merla, that Glanfathen witch sold me useless twigs and herbs. Hmm? Hello? She'll pay, that witch. She'll... Fuming with anger and pacing in tiny circles, the Valen merchant aims his wild rant at me as I approach. You there! Have you come here to trade with the savages? Learn from my example and take your business elsewhere. Spittle accents his every sentence. Liars, cheats, swindlers! That duplicious bitch, Elarhi. She claimed to be selling Elard Gola flower buds, but all I have now is 6 bushels of common houseplants. The herbs are useless. He throws a handful of dried plants to the ground, stomping on the brittle stems and leaves, kicking up pungent, savory scents. I'll get my money back from that swindling savage. What is Elard Gola? Renato's rage abates for a moment, and his face twists into a nervous smile. Elard Gola is a plant that grows in the jungles of Vir Glanfath. He clears his throat, lowering his voice. When dried and consumed or brewed into a tea, it's known to enhance one's drive for the better pleasures in life. Ah, I get your meaning. What do you intend to do about this? When I get my hands on... He halts his sentence, his eyes darting about at the nearby Glanfathen guards. I'm in the savage's home court, so it's my word against hers. Where does that leave me? I'd be a fool to threaten her on tribal soil. He sighs, pressing on his temples. I cannot sell this worthless herb to recover my coin, and I am powerless to confront Elarhi. I don't suppose... He looks at me, sizing me up. If you are willing to mediate, perhaps you could succeed where I failed. I would, of course, pay you handsomely for your troubles. We'll see what I can do. But do you sell something, sir?
Welcome.
Let me see what you have for sale. He looks away from me, scratching his neck and shifting his feet. I am destitute and have but a few meager offerings left to sell. How dreadfully embarrassing. If I can recover my investment from Alarhi, I'll have funds to resupply my stores. Until then, you are welcome to take a look at what I still have in stock. Ah. Yes, ingredients. For enchanting, that's really... I think we're okay right now, but if you would... No, he doesn't really have any coin to buy this, so I'll be on our way. Thank you. Whoa. They have a great big ogre out there. Well, I have a great big ogre defending my, my keep as well. The water is cool and crisp. I'll take a drink from the river. It is cool and very delicious for water, at least. Well, where does this go? Oh. Another ogre. Hello. He just gives me an inn. It's an inn. Almost as nice and fine as any inn I've seen, actually, except there's an unusual amount of growth all throughout this place. But oh well, I'll take it as long as there's a soft bed, some ale and beer, and whatever music that they're playing. Hey, this guy's from the Deerwood, I can tell by his clothes. Hylea's tits. The drinks they serve here. Might as well be drinking lamp oil. Maybe I'll stay away from the drinks. As I near, I feel vibrant history contained in the essence of this woman's soul. Voices from his past seem to call out to me. Reach out for the soul. I see a woman of fire twisting and dancing through a horde of skeletal enemies. Arrows stream through the air, but with a twist of her wrist she sends a sheet of fire careening towards the offending archers, incinerating all in its path. She screams, concentrating lost as a pike pierces her leg and forces her to the ground. As the skeletons advance, she begins to burn brighter, hotter, chanting something between gritted teeth. She flickers out for a moment, the fire contracting, and then waves of white fire explode from her, destroying everything in their path. The only thing left is the sound of her panting and a painted grunt as she twists the pike from her leg and plants it on the ground to support herself as she gets up. She turns to leave, limping slowly towards the door, but something stops her. A guttural, inhuman whisper weaves its way through the air as a final figure rises into the air before her, claiming her, beckoning. Against her will, she is drawn forward, nose filled with the reek of death and dust. Her face is glazed, unresponsive. She falls at the creature's feet, and something in her comes awake. Eyes burning, she stands once more and stretches out a hand, stroking the skeleton's ivory cheek, turning bone to cinder and ash. She stands there long after it's gone, ashes blowing in some spectral breeze. Something had laid claim to her, and this was not the end of it. Okay, then. Could I buy passage to the Republics? Maybe... Can I help you? This man looks up sharply as I approach, eyes going wide. You! You're the one he's looking for. He sets down his wine. You killed Lord Raderick. What if I did? No, you don't understand. It didn't work. I'm one of the guards at the keep. Was one of the guards. He's killed most of them. The ones you didn't. What? Kolsk. He didn't last very long. Nothing but empty air, him. Nice enough to work for, I mean, much nicer, but that didn't help him when Raderick came back. Gods, the screaming! His eyes, it was like he was burning inside. He shudders. He says he's come back to lead us, like before. Says he's going to kill you for what you've done. What? He's back? I told him I'd find you, give you his challenge. Do it all honorable, that sort of thing. He let me go. And I kept on running far as my coin let me. He laughs bleakly. Funny, me running into you anyhow. Are you serious? Do you know how much time and effort and how many people I've killed trying to bring that man down? I suppose there's some kind of trap waiting for me back there? Who, me and the poor fools Raderick threw off the ramparts? I haven't got a thing to do with him, and begging your pardon, but I'd rather keep as far from you as I can manage. Just going to sit here and drink until I don't remember a thing. I wish you all the luck in the world, friend. There's something awful in that keep, howling after your blood. I can't believe this, actually. Of all the things that I've encountered in my life of nearly 30 years, this has to be the strangest, most exceptional thing, if he's telling the truth, if Raderick really is back. What is this? It looks like fingers here. The unusual stone pulses with warmth. Well, I suppose that I'll have to confront him again if he's back to killing everyone. I was originally planning to settle down on the Gilded Vale. You know anything about this, Adair?
Hey. Hey.
If you kill Theos, I think it's only fair they make you Duke. Got my vote anyway. You don't know anything about Raderick, huh? Guess not. What about Aothas?
It makes two of us.
What is there to know about Aothas?
If you're looking to find religion, maybe you want to start with a god that hasn't been burned to dust, but I won't stop you.
Well, I can't get away from religion with Durance around.
Aothas, he was a young man with a silver crown. Carried a candle around with him. Sounds like I'm giving a bad eulogy here.
Pretty much. He was a lot of different things to different people, I guess. Rebirth, redemption, light. Out in the country, he's Gone, the farmer, who helps all things pass. Seasons and people, both. He watches over the weak, does Gone. He sees imbalances made right. You could see why all the copperless rowdies around here might take a liking to someone like that. He was a real popular here for a time. These days, you won't find too many worshipping Aothas in the open. It's hard to know who still does it in private and who's given up. Feels like I'm the last one sometimes. He smirks. If that's the case, he deserves all the mourning. Do you still worship him?
In my way. I don't suppose he expects me to show up at his temple these days. Not much left to do for him other than keep his memory alive and keep hoping that he's just been playing a joke on all of us these past 15 years.
It's more than half my life. As far as I know, he hasn't said anything to anyone since the Godhammer detonated. Why worship him then? He grimaces. Well, if it turns out he's not dead and I gave up on him, I'd have betrayed my god twice. Even the god of redemption has got to have standards. I'd probably be reborn as a fat Amoas horse. That's not really it, though. Not all of it, anyway. He casts a sidelong glance. Guess it's more I still believe in the things he believed in. I just hope his death doesn't mean the death of those things as well. Sometimes it looks that way. Why did you choose to worship him in the beginning?
Raised that way. My family's been Aothasian going way back. Suppose it wasn't much of a choice at first. Don't know for sure why my family started worshiping him. Probably because of Gon looking after folks like us.
My father was killed fighting for him, and that's when I stopped believing in him. He looks me in the eye, conspiratorial. Could just as well be that my ancestor did something so bad that Aothas could forgive. It'd explain a lot about where I got some of my less respectable traits. Did you worship him because that's how you were raised?
There was something I genuinely liked about Aothas. Always. Like he understood people better than the other gods. Knew all our flaws and weaknesses and accepted us for that. Folks are at their worst when they're afraid. A god like Aothas, he made you realize there was nothing to fear. Made you a better person. Of course, he goes away for a few years, and look what happens.
World turns to shit. What made you think Widwen didn't speak for the Aothas?
Was his actions. Not when he started his rebellion, and not even when he took over Raed Saris. It was when he sent his armies into Deerwood.
Now you're starting to think like me. Up to that point, he was sticking up for his people. That's what Aothas does, at least the Gon part of him. Those farmers were starving, and their government didn't lift a finger. I figured it wasn't Aothas himself, at least he had the right idea. But then he sent armies across the border, even crossed it himself in the end. Word was he was chasing refugees that escaped the rebellion. wanted to punish them, and punish us for allowing them to live here. That just didn't fit for me. Those are the deeds of a vengeful god, Skaen, or Wodaka, maybe. Or just a man who lost his sense. I still have trouble believing it, but there's no one left to ask if it's true. Well, maybe I shouldn't be blaming Widewin, or sorry, I should be blaming Widewin. I shouldn't be blaming Aethys for it all. If Widewin didn't actually speak for him. Do the gods actually speak? Tell me about the purges.
You sure you don't want to talk about something more pleasant? Like the War of Black Trees or the Legacy or something?
Talk about the Widewin's legacy. Yeah, that's more pleasant, alright. Tell me, what about it? It's eye-opening, seeing just how naked you are when you've got no god to protect you. The Saints' War was a hard time to be a Derwoodin. People thought it was the end times. They talked big about how we were going to defeat a god, but I don't think there was a man from here to the White March that didn't think he was going to die. It does something to you, thinking you're going to die at someone else's hands. There's a rage that comes, indignation. Imagine a whole country full of that. Might have been Coldmorn that started it, town near the border. They let Widewin march right on through. Rest of Durwood cursed their names till the end of the war. Some say it was the Eothasians there that persuaded the town not to oppose the army. Others said it was just cowardice. It was like the Legacy that way. No one knew the real reason, so they just picked whichever one best suited what they wanted to believe. Either way, that town was burning before the first ashes of Aethys hit the ground, and it felt good to the people here, to be in control after being so helpless. So the fire spread. A lot of us Eothasians went the way of our god. There were claims from the Church of Magran that she'd actually commanded the purges. I found that hard to believe. Sounded to me like people doing what they wanted, wrapping their god around it like she was a cloak. Then again, that's what I thought about Wadwin.
What's on your mind?
Oh, nice sleepy bed right now. Let's keep moving. I guess the bed's not sleepy, just me. Is that an antelope in here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these people. Okay, there's gotta be a place. Someone who's oh, there's the bar over there. I don't really... There's a Valian woman over there. A couple of them really stick out. Dear Wooden, that ogre keeps looking at me like I urinated on some ruins. Did you urinate? You have to be careful. Hello? They don't like that ogre. There's another Valian over there. There's quite a few over in this place. Probably here to trade, I guess. Hello?
Hail and well met.
A middle-aged elven man stands behind the counter of the inn. He has a warm, open face and smiles pleasantly in greeting as I approach. Welcome, welcome. I am always glad to see a new face. I am Elitharian Haggard Shoes. Take a seat where you like, my friend. It seems to me you've walked a long road. All are welcome here, and those with interesting stories most welcome of all. Can you tell me about this place? Of course. Elitharian's face brightens. I founded the inn many years ago, but in many ways its tale begins much earlier. It was while I was returning from a long journey south that I first heard of the story of the tree upon which this inn rests. Hundreds of years ago, a strange event occurred. The sky was troubled that night, and with many stars falling across the sky, and one of those same stars began to plummet instead towards Aora. It fell here, striking a young tree and burying itself within it like a fiery heart. But the tree survived, and over the years it grew and grew and grew, twice as big as its fellows in half the time, until it reached the size you see now, and grew no more. Hearing the tale, I knew I must find the truth, and you see it there. He gestures towards the large stone at the center of the room. Around the tree's heart, I built this inn, to welcome all travelers who might look upon it. I am always glad to see a new face. Take a seat where you like, my friend. It seems to me you've walked a long road. All are welcome here, and those with interesting stories most welcome of all. So your name is Elitharian? Why do they call you Haggard Shoes? Yes, my name's Elitharian. They call me Haggard Shoes for all the walking I used to do and all the boots I wore down, but those days are well behind me. My eyes have seen a great deal, and now my ears get their fill from the travelers who come through here. I am always glad to see a new face, though. But we need a room. Please, anything. Of course, something with a nice view, yes? It doesn't matter. Honestly, it does not matter. We have enough coin. Let's just go for the nicest one. Let's rest. We so badly need it. Ah, feel refreshed. Now, unless the ogre wants to squash us, maybe there's some people we can talk to. Have eaten our breakfast? Another Valian, man. So many Orlins around here. Not like home. Must be why the tables are so low. That explains something. Yeah, you're from the Durwood. Oh, the lamp boil. Huh? Yes. The ale isn't very good. I'll agree with that. Look at these little Orlins down here. Hello. I hate the way Durwoodians always talk over my head. My eyes are down here, Estermore. Okay. Okay. Is there any other place around here? Another room that we can... Have a moment. I would like a word with you. Okay.
Hello.
A slender woman in dusty leathers locks eyes with me. It's good to see someone from more civilized lands around here. Her unkempt hair sprouts in wavy black tufts. Despite the fine features that sculpt her face, a cleft chin completes her boyish appearance. I'm learning firsthand the many shortcomings of Glanfathan hospitality. Her gloved hands come to rest on the pommel of a long estoc, cinched low on her hip. I can almost forgive the hostility towards outsiders, but the temperate taverns and these watered-down drinks, inexcusable. The drinks, I kind of agree. I hope I don't seem too forward, but I've heard of you. A sly smile carves a dimple on her cheek. You're famed among the dozens, and that makes us allies. She gives me a coquettish sideways glance. And allies, well, they help each other, do they not? Who are you? The woman pats the dust off her leggings and gives me an exaggerated curtsy. Where did I leave my ambassadorial manners? She flashes a mocking smile. I am Swinwith. Pleasure to meet with you. She lifts an eyebrow with a blushing smirk. For the time being, though, I'm just another Estimore minding her own business. What help do you need? My friends have drawn some unwanted attention. Swinwith looks to both sides, scanning for uninvited listeners. Glanfathan scouts, and not just any mob of local zealots. The Fangs. She pauses to let the name settle in the air. The Fangs are a brutal, relentless bunch, eager to make an example of troublesome outsiders. As for why I need your help, her smile widens as she speaks. I need someone to warn the expedition that trouble's coming, and I need someone ready to fight, if it comes to that. She taps her hand on the pommel of her estoc. With any luck, we'll reach my friends before the Fangs do, but if not, the Fangs have a reputation to uphold, so this might require spilling blood. What? Why aren't you with the rest of your friends? Why not warn them yourself? Her posture stiffens at the question. It was my turn to handle for patrol. I spotted the Fangs on my trek back to camp. I knew that rejoining the main group would risk leading the enemy right back to the expedition. I know the woods and I know how to stay quiet, but I didn't want to stake my friends' lives on my ability to sneak past expert hunters like the Fangs. If they noticed me warning my friends, we'd have been overrun. Swinwith tilts her head to the side and points to me with a grin. But if they notice me and some reinforcements, like, say, you, well, at least then we can scare them off or put up a good fight. So what did your friends do to draw the attention of the Fangs? Just setting foot in Ir Glanfath is a good way to offend the tribes. I don't know how they picked up our trail. I suspect one of our newer scouts didn't cover his tracks well enough. When I spotted the Fangs, they were retracing a path the expedition had taken days before. Well, tell me about your expedition. I like to think that we're on a mission of reclamation. Swinwith darts a shrewd smile. It is said that our armies left behind many valuables in their hasty retreat from Ir Glanfath at the end of the War of Black Trees. So the way I see it, we're simply gathering up what our ancestors left behind. I doubt the Glanfathans agree with me on this, she adds with a dimpled grin. My expedition set out from Defiance Bay, heading directly east to cross into Glanfathan lands. I split off once we arrived at the Bale, the natural frontier between our nations. The plan was for me to keep my eyes on Glanfathans while the main group scoured the target area. For days we eluded them. She walks her fingers over the back of her leather glove, leaving a trail on its dusty surface. But the Fangs got wise to our presence. This kind of puts me in a bit of a quandary. I think that they are trespassing, and I don't want to anger these Glanfathans while we're here, dealing with Theos. Your friends are trespassing. By local custom, they're criminals. Simith frowns and blinks at me several times. You'll forgive me if I'm not sympathetic with face painters and their barbaric laws. I'm not pretending that what we're doing is noble, I just don't believe trespassing is a crime that warrants execution. Well, I agree with that. I'll help you warn the expedition. Simith smiles with an overt display of dimples. Excellent! I knew I could count on you. She leans and whispers. Assuming the Fangs didn't already get them, my friends should now be at or around the Pilgrim's Trail in the North Weald. The plan was to camp along a trail leading to a temple of Hylia. Find my comrades, warn them the Fangs are coming, and help them clear out the forest. I'll head out first on my own to see if I can't lead the Fangs astray and buy us some time. She pulls her stock a few inches out of its scabbard and cracks a smile. If the gods smile on us, we won't have to draw steel. Should it come to that, I'm glad you're on our side. This is not a good idea at all. This is like sort of like the room we're in, but this has people in it. Okay. Hope I can trust this woman. I guess in time we'll find out.